What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for February 5th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Happy Hump Day. After today, it's all downhill toward the Super Bowl. Just remember that. If we can get through today, we'll be good. Couple quick housekeeping notes before we get into the episode. It's still not too late to buy Girl Scout cookies from Ella. The information is in the description. If you're interested in a block pool, blocks are filling up fast for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame fundraiser. So that's the top link in the description. So be sure to go check that out. Get your blocks in soon as they are filling up. I think there's maybe like 10 or 12 left that I saw from yesterday. So go, get in there. Everything you need is in the description. Be sure to follow me on all my social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Continue to spread the word as we out-trick the algorithm. Be sure to check out my friends over at the On Patterson newsletter. Great things in there. We're featured in there a couple times a week. Everything you need Philly sports is delivered right to your inbox. All right, so before the Sixers game yesterday, there was news they traded Caleb Martin for Quentin Grimes and a second-round pick. And I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. Caleb Martin was supposed to be better than what he has been. He's been hurt. Quentin Grimes, they're arguably like the same player. They have comparable numbers. Caleb Martin obviously has more experience. Grimes is 5 years younger, will be an unrestricted free agent, so got rid of that contract, I guess, is a good way to look at it. Whether or not there's more moves on the horizon, I don't know. But then the game happened, and we did have a Joe sighting, and he played well. Like Ice Cube, he messed around and got a triple-double last night. Sixers win, 118-116. Hit the game-winning shot with 22 seconds left. Tyrese Maxey added 33. It was actually a very entertaining game. And for what it's worth, it's a lot of fun to watch Joel Embiid play basketball. It was a very entertaining game. It was back and forth. I was watching it with the kids somewhat before they went to bed last night. But it's just the poor guy's body just is broken down. But yeah, screwed around. Haven't played since in over a month. I'll just get a triple-double. And that to me just shows how good he is, but his body. And I'm not going to do it. I'm fighting the feeling. I'm fighting it because they're back in action tonight against the Heat. Joe obviously is not playing. I'm not sure what's going on with Paul George's pinky. I'm not here to judge, but if he ends up in Golden State or Atlanta, I would not be unhappy. But Sixers, good win over the Mavs, 118-116. They battled. Joe looked like Joe, which is a good thing. Usually when he comes back from long layoffs, he's rusty, but he went in and played. So hopefully tonight's the back-to-back. Hopefully he's back in, and this could be the start of some sort of respectability, but I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Football is still in the closet. Not going to call Lucy yet. I'm not going to fall for the ex's tricks, but it was nice to see Joe on the court last night. But they are back in action tonight against the Heat. Stop the presses. The Flyers scored a goal. They scored first. They had the lead in this game, but did lose to the Utah Hockey Club 3-2 in overtime. Rodrigo Aballs had his first career NHL goal. Tyson Forrester added the other one for the Flyers. They're finally back home tomorrow to take on, and I should have looked to see who they're taking on. I'm not sure who they're taking on, but I know they're back home tomorrow. Hopefully some home cooking will do them well. But they did score a goal, 3-2 overtime loss to the Utah Hockey Club. Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Great things going on with their sports fan network. If you want to get involved with them, everything you need is on their YouTube page. You can also go to clashingconferences.com, I believe is the website. But if you just search Clashing Conferences, everything you need. They're doing great things over there, so go check them out. And then, of course, Philly Goat. They got you covered head to toe. Spend the money, celebrate the Super Bowl, Joe scored last night. Celebrate that. Or scored the goal. Joe scored a triple-double last night. I got Flyers on my mind for some reason. Either way, Philly Goats got you covered. You want to go celebrate the Flyers scoring a goal? Philly Goat got you covered for that as well. Be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. But be sure to take some time to go through that site because what they have on there, I can't do it justice in a little quick 30 to 45 second tidbit. So go to Philly Goat, use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, let's get into some Eagles news. And we'll start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you where you saw this going. Is it going to be a close game or a blowout? More close than what I thought this was going to be. 56% of you said it was going to be a close game. And I could see that. Like I said, I could see that. Something tells me this is a 10, 11-point game either way. If you want to consider that a blowout, I'm fine with that. But I could see this game going 10, 11 points. One way or the other. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. We're going to have another one right now. But a lot of you, I wanted to mention, too, a lot of people still commenting on where you're going to watch the game, whether it's a party or a bar or at home. A lot of people staying home. And in a major turn of events, it does look like that is the way we're leaning now, which obviously I am A-okay with. Probably going to order some wings and cheesesteaks from Verona Pizza. It's a free plug for them if you're in the Upper Dublin area. Best cheesesteaks in the area. Closest thing I've come to a true Philly cheesesteak from Philly. So if you're in the area, go check it out. We'll have more on Super Bowl foods and everything later in the week. But today's question of the day, if it's going to be a close game, and 56% of you feel that way, it's probably going to come down to the fourth quarter. So 2 minutes left in the game. 4-point game. Who do you want on the field? Do you want the Eagles defense trying to stop Patrick Mahomes? Or do you want Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense trying to score the game-winning touchdown? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Let's have some fun on this Super Bowl hump day. I would be comfortable in either position for the record, too. I know defensively, typically, it's easier to try to stop somebody. Although I did, like in the playoffs, the Eagles did start playing that softer bent, like don't let them get behind you defense, and teams were able to drive up the field on them. I'm fully confident in the Eagles offense to come down and score a touchdown. But I think, again, I would go either way. But I would say take it out of Patrick Mahomes' hands and let Jalen and the offense score. But what do you think? Would you rather have the Eagles offense driving down for the game-winning touchdown with 2 minutes left, or the Eagles defense trying to stop Patrick Mahomes from scoring the game-winning touchdown with 2 minutes left? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off of your chest. All right. Slow news day out of the Super Bowl. I guess they were doing a lot of the photo shoots and things for the transitions on the Super Bowl coverage. They're taking videos and pictures of the Eagles in different spots in New Orleans and things like that. So not a whole lot coming out. I'm assuming that today's Wednesday. It's kind of like a normal practice day. We'll start getting into some news. Hopefully we get some great updates on Kenny Gainwell and the other Eagles that were injured. But it's time. Hopefully we can just focus on football so much. And again, I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, because it's better than not having to deal with it and talking about what went wrong. So I'll go with it. But hopefully today we get some more legitimate football news. I did also see, and I've been sitting on this for a while, Saquon needs 30 yards in the Super Bowl to break Terrell Davis's full season rushing total. And they call it the winner's record. Basically from game one to the Super Bowl. So he needs 30 yards for that. And then only 53 to have 2,500 total rushing yards in the full season, which is just incredible. likely going to get that. It's hard to imagine a scenario where Saquon doesn't get 53 yards. So that's something to keep an eye on Sunday. And here's a little feel-good story from yesterday. If you remember the plane crash, I don't know if anybody saw this or not, but there was a father, a son, and a daughter in a car that I guess flying metal was coming toward them. He yelled to them to get down. The son got down, protected his sister, and did take a piece of metal into his head, required emergency brain surgery. Well, yesterday, he woke up from the surgery, asked his dad what day it was, or I guess this might have been Monday. But Monday, I just read it yesterday, but asked his dad what day it was and said, did we win the Super Bowl? And he's like, no. It's only this Monday. You didn't miss. So the kid was excited about that. But his first thought was, did the Eagles win the Super Bowl? And then asked, did he save his sister? Such a great story that this kid, young kid that really is a hero. But it was pretty cool that he was able to wake up, asked about his sister, and then immediately asked about the Super Bowl, which is amazing. And I think this is one of those feel-good stories that we did the whole forgiveness for the month of January. No amount of forgiveness for anybody in Philly sports is going to bring good karma like that. Thank God this kid woke up. Thank God this kid is it seemed as though it's going to be obviously brain surgery. It's going to be somewhat dicey, but thank God he's awake. And the fact that all this happened because he was saving his sister is just amazing. But I wanted to say that and tell that story because it was a pretty cool thing. His dad laughed. He was like, he was all concerned about the Super Bowl after his sister, which teaching them young, that seems like to me like a typical Eagle fan move. Everybody safe? What about the game? So cool story for that. Hopefully he's able to recover enough to be able to watch the game on Sunday. All right. Kind of a cool little thing I wanted to do because I read this and wanted to pass it along. Obviously, the Eagles fight song is Fly, Eagles Fly, but do we really know where it came from? Read an article, and here is the history of Fly, Eagles Fly. This is this day in Philly sports history. It is the Super Bowl. Here's the history of Fly, Eagles Fly. The original fight song was Fight, Eagles Fight. It was about 5 minutes long. It was performed at Shibe Park or Connie Mack, either way, with a 200-member band called the Eagles Sound of Brass. And then it just sort of went by the wayside. You don't see too many bands in NFL stadiums, and they used to, but as they started to fade out, the song went away in the late 80s. But then in the late 90s, Bobby Mansour, who was was a mummer at the time. I don't think he's a mummer still. Remixed the original fight song, shortened it down, tweaked the words a little bit, formed his own little band with another guy from the Mummers and two other guys to become the Fly Guys, which you know them now as the Eagles pep band. And really, they went around and just played at tailgates, traveled around. They still do this to this day. Randomly, you'll see them coming around tailgates, but they were handing out lyric sheets so everybody knew the words. The Eagles would play it after a touchdown, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now, I tried my best, and it does seem like the original four guys from the Fly Guys, the original Eagles pep band, are still the guys. But whenever you see the Eagles pep band, Bobby Mansour was the one that was responsible for creating Fly, Eagles Fly as we know it today. So if you ever see them in the parking lot or out in an event, you can tell them you know the story, you know the history behind it, and go Birds. All right, today we're going to go back to the year 2000. And on this day in 2000, it was a big day for the Big Five. And we don't talk a lot of Big Five, but it's kind of rare, probably more so today than it was back then. But it is kind of rare when all the teams that play seem to win. First, Nova went down to Georgetown and beat the Hoyas 72-69 on a three-pointer with 45 seconds left, overcoming an early 10-point deficit on the road. Tough season for the Wildcats that year, though, as they did not make the tournament. Then it was Temple going up to Rhode Island and just beat the brakes off of the Rams, 74-40. Rhode Island had 9 points at halftime. Yes, you heard that right. 9 points at halftime. For me, this is one of my favorite Temple teams, that 99-2000 team. They went on the run to the Elite Eight before finally losing to Duke, who was just stacked. They had Trajan Langdon, Elton Brand. There was somebody else on that team, too. Derek Battie, not Derek Battie. I forget. Shane Battier. Like, that team was just stacked. Absolutely stacked Duke team. But that was Temple on this day in 2000. Then LaSalle snapped a 3-game losing streak to win their second game in 12 or second time win only the second time in 12 games, as they went down or they beat Virginia Tech 71-64, and then the Penn Quakers topped it off by beating Brown 83-48. It was their 17th straight win against the Brown Bears. But Temple and Penn made the tournament that year. I mentioned Temple went on that run to the Elite Eight, but it was a good day, as Ice Cube would say. Lots of good day Ice Cube references in today's podcast, but today was a good day for the Big Five, as Nova, Temple, LaSalle, and Penn all won. Drexel played the next day. They won too, so it was a good little 24-hour stretch for the Big Five, but that all happened on this day in the year 2000. And then finally today, our Black History Legacy makers with Philly ties is the legend, the man, the myth, Sonny Hill. Yes, the mayor of basketball in Philadelphia, Northeast High graduate, played in the professional Eastern Basketball League for a couple years, but his legacy and his impact was far beyond actually playing the game of basketball. He co-created the Baker League, which was a summer pro league, became a top off-season showcase for players. From there, kind of spawned the Sonny Hill League, which is another great talent showcase, but more importantly, it gave a safe space for kids, like high school kids, college kids trying to hone their skills, safe place for them to not only play, but learn discipline, get some direction. They were able to get career advice. So the Sonny Hill League and the Baker League that's just part of Sonny Hill's legacy. He is, as I mentioned, he's nicknamed the mayor of basketball in Philly. If you listen, he's still on Sunday mornings on WIP in the living room with Sonny Hill. One of my favorite shows to listen to because just the stories, the people he's able to call in. He has like a little bit of an older following on his show, so older guys will call in, and just some of the stories that they share is it's incredible. And it's one of, if you're into Philly basketball history or even Philly sports history, which obviously you're listening here, but he does a great job. So like just being like a walking encyclopedia for Philly sports history. He was a color commentator for CBS for when they had the NBA. He was he worked with Andy Musser as the color commentator for the Sixers for a few years. He is the Manny Jackson Human Spirit Award winner with the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. He was in the charter induction class for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. And truthfully, his legacy is immeasurable because of how many people in and around the city of Philadelphia Sonny has impacted. Whether it's guys playing in the Baker League, guys playing in the Sonny Hill League, a lot of the players will go to him for advice. Just his wealth of knowledge. Like he's had an impact on me, and I've never played in any of those leagues, but just I feel like a sense of calm, and I just want to listen to him talk and eat up everything he's saying. So Sonny, thank you for your contributions to the basketball community and just really the Philadelphia community in general. You are today's Black History Legacy Maker with Philly Ties Spotlight of the Day. Sonny Hill, the mayor of basketball in Philly. On this day in 2000, it was a good day, as Ice Cube said, for the Big Five, as Nova, Temple, LaSalle, and Penn all won on this day in 2000. We will have more on the Eagles, hopefully more football stuff coming. But let me know, 2 minutes left in the game, 4-point game, you need a touchdown. Do you want the offense on the field trying to score? You want the defense trying to stop Patrick Mahomes? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. I would be comfortable either way, but I'm going offense. I want to see Jalen and just explode. And there's always the chance that Saquon breaks one anyway. But I also told you the story of Fly Eagles Fly. Little bonus this day in history today. We'll have more on all of that, including the Sixers versus the Heat without Joel Embiid. Not going to do it, though. Not going to do it. Keep that football in the closet, Lucy. It is hump day. It's all downhill from here, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday, and then the rest of the week will fly. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for February 5th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Wednesday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.